Hey everyone, I'm back again in a weird format. I want to tell you two things. The first is going to be a message that Father wants me to bring to all of your attention, something very important, and it is this. When we're trained and we're taught lessons, Father a lot of times teaches us lessons in hard ways. We go through a lot of things. We go through sometimes some very serious trials and very unpleasant things to learn the things that Father wants us to learn. It might be how to be more humble, to overcome pride, to be kinder, not so mean-spirited, or not mean-spirited at all. It can be how to depend on Him, how to not be a money-grubbing miser who makes the almighty dollar the source of your life's pursuit, or someone who thinks you do it all. You take care of everything. When Father puts us through things to teach us a lesson, to teach us something, it is very important to always remember this. When He teaches us a lesson and He trains us for a period of time to teach us a lesson, and He tests you later, or just in the natural passage of time in life, you have the ability to either succeed and act in accordance to how He's trained you or not. Now, pay attention. If we start backsliding, if we start forgetting lessons He's taught us, if we start reverting to old habits, old ways of thinking, if we start reverting, it's the best word I can use for it. When He has very clearly taught us not to behave or act or be a certain way. And we all know what those things are. If Father has spent time, precious time, teaching us a lesson, and we go against it, we know, our conscience tells us, our hearts are convicted. When we start backsliding into behaviors and doing things again He has told us specifically not to be, or to do, or to act like. And if we do those things, and we regress, He will lay the smackdown on you. And He will punish you. And He will punish you hard. And He will punish you harder than when He initially trained you. Because in that time, when you were being trained, He was training those bad habits or qualities or thoughts out of you. So if you start regressing and reverting back on anything, the punishment you will endure will be 100 times worse. He will truly punish you, whereas before, He was training you. Now, He will punish you because you have taken the lessons He taught you and you're spitting on them. And He will not take kindly to that. So anything you've been trained, taught not to do, ways not to be, if you do those things, when you have been trained to the contrary, you will be punished. So keep a constant, mindful watch on yourself. And the things that you battle with the most, the things that he has spent so much time training you and telling you he doesn't want you to do, things, habits, whatever those things might be mindful, extra mindful. Because if not, and you fall prey, he will punish you hard. That is a warning. Do not make him have to repeat himself. Don't let him have to teach you that lesson all over again because you allowed yourself to get sloppy and lazy and you regressed. You reverted. Now, second message. As of this point right now, we've covered most of the material in the Torah Father wanted me to cover. Not saying we're not going to do any more videos on Torah, but for right now, we've covered the most important parts. Why Torah is still relevant in the first 3 installments. The Shabbat, Shemitah year, 7th year release, the Yovel year, year of Jubilee, Moedim, many of the appointed times or feasts, the Kashrut, dietary laws, and the other day, the Shatnez, wearing mixed fabric, as well as the one on slavery. I'm not saying we're not going to do other videos or installments on Torah, but for right now, we have covered the most important parts. So, what Father is going to have me do now, starting maybe, I'm going to say, well, I don't know exactly the time. I'm not going to give you a false timetable. But here very soon, hopefully, within the next couple days, I'm going to start doing teachings from the extra biblical books. So, Deuterocanonical, some know them as apocrypha, meaning secret or hidden. That's not the proper word for people who do not see those books as being spurious or false, which I do not. The proper term is Deuterocanon, meaning second canon, as well as some of the extra biblical writings that are not necessarily considered deuterocanonical. Some do, some don't, depending on Christian demographic. So, Enoch, the book of Jasher, the book of Jubilee, also known as Yovelim in Hebrew. We're going to be looking at a lot of those books from the Deuterocanon. Why? They're very important books. Far from what so much mainstream Christianity teaches. They're bad books, horrible books. For one thing, most people parrot that because they've heard it was bad. Their preacher, their church doesn't teach out of it. It's just this urban belief, this urban myth kind of thing. People are told they're bad, so they just avoid them. But most people have not researched. They know nothing about these books, the historicity, the content. So they just make dubious claims. These are great books. Reading these books does not diminish what you read in your canonical 66-book Bible. Far from it. Books like Enoch, Jasher, Yovelim, Jubilee explain and help make more sense of many of the things in the scriptural canon that otherwise do not. Fills in a lot of blank places, a lot of questions, a lot of things that are otherwise confusing. We're also going to look into a short history of some of these books, especially Jasher. Yes, in case you're already aware, yes, I know, there is question on whether or not the current book of Jasher, among all the different editions there are books called Jasher, which basically means the book of the upright. There's question on, is it the Jasher mentioned in the biblical canon, such as in Shmuel, Samuel, and in Joshua, or Joshua. There are different versions. More specifically, one of the most common English translations of Jasher, going back to, I believe, the 19th century, the 1800s. Yes, I know the scholarly question, oh, it is or it's not the biblical Jasher. But there's also, it's important to note, no matter what scholars say, or so-called theologians, there's no definitive proof or evidence whatsoever to say that the book of Jasher, the one that exists today, is not or doesn't have any components of the original biblical book of Jasher. I've read the arguments for and against it. I've looked into its historicity. Most importantly, I've read Jasher for myself. Twice, actually. I've just been through my second go-through about a week ago. We're going to talk about the importance of Jasher. We're not going to do a deep, extensive, thorough dive because there's not much to dive on. The facts and the origin of Jasher is pretty much that simple. Over the last few hundred years, there have been different editions of Jasher printed, different forms of it. Some people claim this version or that version is the correct one. A lot of the books of Jasher go back to medieval ages. They're attributed to different rabbis within Judaism. So we are going to look a little bit into the origins of Jasher. Most importantly, why it is an important book. I do not agree with, nor do I support what so many mainstream theologians and scholars like to parrot and claim when they say, and they do this with a lot of deuterocanonical, extra-biblical works. They'll say concerning the Deuterocanon, concerning extra-biblical works like Jasher, they'll say, well, historically speaking, it's a really good historical narrative, but it's not the quality of the divinely inspired canonical works as found in the Bible. I vehemently disagree. Anytime I hear a scholar or theologian or organized religious authorities say that, I am vehemently against that. No man has the right to claim what is inspired or what is not. Because the fact is, and we will touch on this more, looking at even the biblical canon, whether anyone likes to hear this or not, it's a fact. This is not conspiracy. This is church history. This is fact. No theologian would disagree with it. The Roman Church, during the 3rd and 4th centuries, decided the biblical canon. Now, of course, they will say the biblical canon was decided based off of things like translation, history, accuracy, a thorough evidentiary trail back to original Hebrew writings. But at the end of the day, when you look deeper into some of the councils and the primitive nascent assemblies that talked about biblical canon, at the end of the day, a lot of the men, these early primitive church leaders, decided biblical canon and rejected books that were not integrated into biblical canon, usually based off of theological predisposition. It all came down ultimately to doctrine and dogma. Today, the argument amongst scholars and theologians has a lot more to do with the translation history, the preservation history. How far back with accuracy is this book translated? Can we find a accurate trail of translation from this point back to a primitive point in time? But in the primitive church, the Roman Church, largely, canon was decided on the theology and the doctrine of that time, what was agreed upon within the bounds of the Roman Church. And it's important to note with books like Jubilee, Juvelum, or Enoch, that a lot of those books were actually included in certain assemblies that were not under the bounds of the Roman authorities, going all the way back to 1,000 years ago. The Ethiopian biblical canon, for instance, has maintained the books of Jubilee, Uvalum, and Enoch for 1,000 years. The book of Yasher has long been considered canonical by the Latter-day Saints. Now, of course, I know for a lot of people that's not going to matter, but regardless. But we're going to look at all of that throughout the course of this coming series as we read through some of these extra biblical writings. We're going to examine some of these claims. We're going to examine some of these extra biblical books. We're going to break down and crack open a lot of these writings that not just in many ways help explain the biblical canon more, but in many ways clarifies what has long been considered confusing, enigmatic parts of the biblical canon, and why so many of these stories are so powerful and so edifying or constructive, good for building up of the child of Yah. So with our next video installment, whenever that's going to be, again, hopefully within the next couple days, we're going to probably crack open the book of Yasher first. And all I ask when you watch that video is you do so with an open mind. And when we're done, as always, go read it for yourself. So that's it. You guys have that to look forward to. I know I look forward to recording these. It's going to be fun. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. Hopefully. It'll be within the next couple days, like I said. So until then, thank you guys for your time. And I'll see you then.